Whoever was the one that had CeeDee Lamb line up as the running back in this play needs to be fired. I'm sorry. What the fuck are you thinking? Before anyone comes at me and goes, oh, they're just trying to use CeeDee Lamb's versatility. It's just unfortunate he got hurt this time. You don't use your wide receiver one who's getting paid $34 million a year at running back.
The Dallas Cowboys just can't seem to get out of their own way. A franchise dripping with star power and championship expectations is now dealing with a storm created not just by injuries, but by frustration boiling over inside the locker room. CeeDee Lamb, the team's brightest offensive weapon, has reportedly reached a breaking point, lashing out at the coaching staff after what he considers a reckless backfield disaster. And it's sparking questions about leadership, accountability, and the team's future.
Players where if a coach makes a play call, and I get it, the play call sucked. It didn't end up working. They ended up sniffing it out and stopping them really short. So I get that end of it. But when they make a play call and a player gets hurt, everyone has to go after the coach for making a play call, which they practice all the time. He's a football player. It just happens, guys. He can get hurt on that same play on a route. So I'm not too hurt about it.
The drama centers on what should have been a routine offensive sequence. A simple play call turned costly when miscommunication and questionable coaching decisions left the Cowboys exposed. The result was not just an injury that stunned the sideline, but also the unraveling of trust between star players and the men calling the plays. For Lamb, who has carried the offensive load this season, it was the last straw.
His ankle injury news just got double bad. Mike Fisher reporting from Frisco, home of the Cowboys. You already knew about CeeDee Lamb, and you've probably heard, even though Lamb injured in the Cowboys' awful 31-14 loss at Chicago in Week 3 on Sunday at Chicago, said, oh, absolutely, I'm playing on Sunday night when the Packers come to town in Week 4. No, he's not.
Lamb's frustration didn't appear out of thin air. Throughout the year, whispers have grown louder about how the Cowboys coaching staff has handled game management, offensive design, and player health. The backfield, in particular, has been plagued with inconsistency. A carousel of running backs has created more chaos than stability, with injuries mounting and effectiveness plummeting. When one of those questionable choices led directly to a breakdown that sidelined a teammate, Lamb let his anger spill out in a way that can't be ignored.
I was playing. I do one. Don't ask me to do special teams. I'm certain I don't want to do. I do one thing and I do it right. And the reason I do one thing and do it right is because all these other things is how you get your things hurt. That's what happened to CeeDee Lamb today.
He is not just a receiver putting up highlight reels. Lamb has become the identity of Dallas's offense, the go-to weapon every defense plans for and every Cowboys fan depends on. With that role comes not just pressure, but also a sense of responsibility. He has carried the unit through sloppy play calling, uneven quarterback performances, and a running game that's been unreliable at best. So when coaching decisions risk both games and careers, his reaction is rooted in protecting not just himself, but the entire offense.
I played. Now we lose CeeDee Lamb for 3 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks, like I told you. And I have to sit here and question, is this season over for the Dallas Cowboys? In Week 3, because it's going to take a Herculean effort to get in.
What makes this situation even more combustible is timing. The Cowboys are not in a comfortable position in the standings. Every week feels like a must-win battle, and cracks in chemistry only magnify the pressure. Instead of focusing on playoff positioning and momentum, the narrative has now shifted to internal conflict. Lamb's outburst highlights a growing rift between the players on the field and the staff on the sidelines.
CeeDee Lamb's injury definitely affected everything, you know what I'm saying? Like, why, Brian Schottenheimer, why do you got this man at running back? For what? It wasn't even like it was a tricky, well-designed play. It was a regular play to that side of the... You could have put anybody in to do that shit. Why is you putting your best player in for that shit?
Fans who have watched Dallas closely this season saw the warning signs. Strange rotation patterns in the backfield, overuse of certain players in high-risk moments, conservative play calling that stalls drives, then risky calls at the worst times. The coaching staff has been accused of mismanaging personnel, and this injury disaster only confirms what critics have been saying all along. It's not just bad luck, it's bad planning.
I always said, and I know the new way and the new day is do everything. You want to Debo Samuel, you want to do this, you want to run the ball, I don't want to do all of that. I don't want to throw no reverse pass. I don't want to run out of the backfield. I want it to be.
For Lamb, the frustration also ties back to his personal career arc. Entering the prime of his years, he is cementing himself as one of the best wideouts in the league. But he understands that championships, not just stats, define greatness in football. If the Cowboys continue wasting opportunities because of preventable mistakes, he risks becoming another star swallowed up by a franchise famous for unmet expectations. His anger is fueled by urgency. He doesn't want to see his prime wasted in dysfunction.
Most of the time when they do run plays with CeeDee Lamb, it's a jet sweep like 90% of the time. But the one time they actually line him up at running back, he gets hurt. I mean, it's great that Schottenheimer wants to use the versatility of his players, but this play right here, crumble it up, bro. Toss it out. Never use it again. So stupid. The only good thing that came from this is CeeDee Lamb's ankle didn't fully break, because in the video, it looked a lot worse. At least it's only an ankle sprain. He's going to be out a couple weeks.
Inside the locker room, Lamb's words hit differently. Teammates know he's not a diva looking for attention. He's been the steady presence through ups and downs, rarely throwing public tantrums. So when he lashes out, it's a signal that the problems are no longer whispers, but alarms. Injuries are part of football, but when they're linked to questionable coaching calls, players can feel betrayed. Trust is the glue of a football team, and right now, that glue looks cracked.
Man, I'm watching the game right now, and this Cowboys and Bears game is terrible, man. Jonathan, you should be disappointed. I have CeeDee Lamb in fantasy, and why in the hell are y'all lining him up in the backfield?
To clarify, he's talking about when CeeDee Lamb got injured, they lined him up as a running back, and that's the play that he gets injured on. So, Jonathan, I mean, you probably.
Meanwhile, the coaching staff faces a daunting challenge. They must regain control of the locker room and convince their star players that the plan is still solid. But that's easier said than done. In a league where every detail matters, one misstep in play design or personnel use can derail a season. When that misstep also sidelines a teammate, the fallout is more than physical, it's psychological. Players begin questioning not just the playbook, but the leadership guiding them. For Jerry Jones and the Cowboys front office, this is the nightmare scenario. A team built on star power and big expectations now finds itself in turmoil. The headlines are not about victories, but about anger and fractured relationships. The Cowboys have seen this movie before. Talent wasted by poor decisions, hopes shattered by drama. And unless immediate adjustments are made, history looks ready to repeat itself.
Like, put Turbin back there, put somebody else back there, bro. So he gets hurt with his weak look. He's not a Debo Samuel. He's a slim, you know what I'm saying, cut up receiver. But he don't need to be running gadget plays out the backfield. No, not like that. Not like that as we seen today.
This controversy also reshapes how the rest of the league views Dallas. Opponents don't just see injuries, they see vulnerability. They see a locker room divided, a star receiver openly furious with his coaches, and a team wobbling when it should be surging. That perception can be as damaging as any injury because football is as much mental as it is physical. Confidence fuels momentum, and the Cowboys' confidence looks like it's slipping away. What happens next will define the rest of Dallas's season. Does the coaching staff double down, brushing off Lamb's fury as just passion in the heat of the moment? Or do they take it seriously, adjusting their approach to ensure player safety, smarter rotations, and more trust in the locker room? Their response could either calm the storm or make it explode into something unmanageable.
I mean, that was I did feel the same when I saw that. That was one of the stupidest things I could ever imagine the Cowboys doing. You have to know your players. CeeDee Lamb doesn't look like that type of guy that can run the ball like that. He's like a pretty boy receiver. He doesn't like to get hit. You know, we went to see him. He didn't like to be cold. And no, he's not built to be a running back. So the way he got tackled, you can tell he wasn't used to being tackled like that.
For CeeDee Lamb, the outburst may be a turning point. If the Cowboys don't address his concerns, they risk alienating the very player keeping their offense relevant. In today's NFL, stars hold leverage. A frustrated star can spark off-season drama, trade rumors, or public criticism that destabilizes an organization. Dallas cannot afford to let their most important offensive weapon feel like he's alone in the fight. The Cowboys fans, loyal but long-suffering, are watching closely. They've seen enough heartbreak to recognize when trouble is brewing. They know that once a locker room starts fracturing, the slide can be swift and brutal. For them, Lamb's fury isn't just a story, it's a warning. A warning that the team might be heading down a familiar path of wasted potential.
CeeDee Lamb got hurt. Believe me, I'm just as shocked as you are. It just happened in practice a couple hours ago. It's a foot injury, and it should be keeping him out of the joint practice with the Chargers today. The report also says that it's not serious. He's not wearing a protective boot or anything like that. So we can only hope he's back on the field again. Thank God, because we don't have any other wide receivers to look forward to.
This story is no longer just about one injury in the backfield. It's about leadership under fire, a star's patience running out, and a franchise once again standing on the edge of chaos. The Cowboys still have time to rewrite the narrative, but every misstep makes it harder. If they can't find a way to protect their players, sharpen their decisions, and unify their locker room, then Lamb's fury will be remembered as the spark that exposed everything wrong in Dallas. Because in the NFL, anger from a star isn't just an outburst, it's a reflection of reality. And right now, that reality is ugly for the Cowboys.